So first I have to say thank y'all for coming, but also to all of my RRTs. Happy Respiratory Care Week, y'all! Yeah. I'd like to thank my family and everyone who took part in this project to making it happen. It was a grueling last 2 years, and our story needed to be out there. And I felt that I was the one to speak up for us. No one was doing it. And I saw how much we all struggle as a field, as a community. Respiratory therapy is my family. You know, for the last 19 years, I spent 12 hours a day with them. So we struggled as a family throughout the years. And when COVID hit, it hit us hard. And there were times we didn't know we was gonna get through it. But we knew that God placed us there for a reason, placed us in the field for a reason, and it was all about the people. It was all about the patients. And didn't matter what we had, right, Garita? But we still, with what we had and what was given to us, we made it work. Because people were coming in and their breathing was compromised. And it fell on us. And I think we did a hell of a job. So here's to you, to all the respiratory therapists, I thank you. Thank you for being there. Thank you for saying yes to the call. Because it is a call. It's just not a career. It's just not a job. It's a call. Call to help someone who is in need in that moment. And we showed up big time.
Wow, you just gave me chills. And I must say, reading The Forgotten Heroes gave me chills too. I kind of want to backtrack for those who might not be familiar with who you are and your experience, because I'm sitting here with a 19-year veteran in respiratory therapy during Respiratory Care Week. Can I just get a round of applause for that alone? And the author of The Forgotten Heroes, can you just give us a little bit information about your background and your medical experience?
Well, I'm from Harlem, New York, the heart of Harlem. That's where it all started, 125th Street. And as I was picking up my outfits from the cleaners on 125th Street today, I had my event decorator, Sharonda Russell. She's back there. Let's give it up for her. She did this, y'all. We was walking, and I said, this is where I grew up. And we was right in front of the building. And she said, tell me a little about it. And I said, it started on a journey 52 years ago. And back then, you know, Harlem wasn't a good place, you know. I'm the youngest of 8 and single parent, but my mom made sure that we had everything. She did what she had to do, and always had the heart to giving us the best, you know. My siblings, my niece, her granddaughter, she can attest to that. Always pushing us forward. Those talks in the living room, it was about education, and she pushed me hard, and she said, you're gonna graduate from high school, you know. But I think it was like age 5 or 6, she told me, I was rubbing her feet. She came home from work, and she said, man, she said, you got healing hands. She looked at me and she said, greatness is inside of you.
Wow.
6 years old, you don't know what that means, but coming from your mom, it was everything. It was everything. So I took that and I hid that in my heart, and that was my motivation. And I just kept going forward. It didn't matter. Sometimes in school, you know, you may not get a good grade.
Yeah.
You know, you may not have a good semester, right? But you just keep going forward, you keep pushing and pushing. And I use that as my motivation and my inspiration, you know. And I watch my mom, and yeah, went to college, SUNY Stony Brook. Shout out to SUNY Stony Brook, you know. And a week after graduation, my mom sat me down on the bed and told me that she had cancer. She was just diagnosed. And I said, what are we doing?
Right.
You know, we're not going to give up, because we come from a family of the never giving up, right? So she said, I'm going to fight. I said, well, you're going to do the surgery, like, you know, whatever the plan is. And I was on my way to med school. And I put my life aside for the woman who took care of me. I felt it was that time for me to take care of my mom. And she said, I can't work anymore. And that was hurtful to her, because that's all she knew. And I said, you know, we'll find a way. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the income. I'll get the income. And I took a certified nurse's assistant course. You know, everybody was like, no, do nursing. I said, I don't got the time. Nursing is 2 years. They said, do LPN. I said, I don't have the time. That's 15 years, you know? So I did an 8-week nursing assistant course, and went right through, got a job, and started working. And that was the beginning of the journey, in actuality. 94, August, my mom transitioned, and I stayed on that path of nursing assistant, but just learning different entities of medicine on how to take care of people. And it was a CUNY channel TV. I was watching it, or it was watching me, and I saw respiratory therapy going across the screen. I wanted to go to med school, but I felt I would have crashed and burned, because my head wasn't right. So I said I needed a challenge first.
Right.
And I said, I'm gonna do respiratory therapy. Went to BMCC, and that was the journey. That was the beginning of me being before you today.
Wow. So you mentioned seeing respiratory therapy just go across your screen. At the time, did you know what that actually consisted of? And for those who are in the room that might not be aware of what respiratory therapists do, what you have to embody, right? Can you kind of let us know in jargon that we understand what respiratory therapists do, and the importance of Respiratory Care Week as well?
So before you can talk about what a respiratory therapist is, you have to know the field of respiratory therapy. You know, it's a specialized healthcare discipline that specializes in cardiopulmonary function, wellness, and health. Okay, so that's the theory. That's the textbook theory of it. Okay, y'all. In a nutshell, when someone breathing is compromised, it's the therapist that's going to carry out that therapy. That's going to take care of that patient. That's going to answer that beeper. That's going to go to that code. It doesn't matter whether it's a 99 or intubation. They're going to be there at the head of the bed, manually ventilating that patient. Is that right? Is that right? Okay. So we're experts.
Yeah.
We're specialists. This is what we do, through and through.
Yeah.
No one can't tell us nothing different about it. We're managers. We're directors. We work all over the hospital, in every department, okay? From the ER to the floors, to all the ICUs, labor and delivery. You know, I was telling Courtney, I was saying, you know, if a person, if a woman who is in labor is in distress and have the baby right there and the baby and the mom is in distress, you're going to have a therapist for the mom, you're going to have a therapist for the baby. That baby's more than likely is going to NICU, and then the mom is going to ICU. We're that important.
I'm going to kind of skip around based off of you stating that we're that important, and from what I read in the Forgotten Heroes, I'm going to be completely honest. I knew what a respiratory therapist was, but all that you embody and how you explain what you guys went through at the height of COVID when no one even knew what COVID was, right? Why do you feel like there's an underappreciation and a lack of support for a field that is so important? We need to breathe, to live, and survive. What is the resistance there in the medical field?
Lack of support, no awareness. When there's no awareness of a field so important as respiratory therapy, then no one's going to know about it. No one's going to push for it. We get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
And in a nutshell, we become forgotten.
That leads me to your title, The Forgotten Heroes. Can you tell us why you chose that title, the importance of it, and what was the message you wanted to get out to the readers?
God gave me the title, The Forgotten Heroes. There was a consensus in the beginning of COVID that we were forgotten. You know, everyone was looking at the other occupation, other healthcare workers and other occupations in healthcare. And as much as we tried to push, you know, we just weren't recognized, from getting equipment, masks, ventilators, just recognition, just appreciation, you know. But we didn't have the time to do interviews. Am I right? We had patients to take care of.
Yeah.
You know, there was no time getting on YouTube or IG or Facebook. There was no time getting before the news. There was just no time for that.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about 10 plus, 15, 20 patients for one therapist. That was our assignment.
Yeah.
You know, and we were short already. You know, so that's why the increase and the influx of patients piled up upon our list. But yeah, so that was the consensus. We felt that we were forgotten at that time, although we weren't. We were not forgotten. Our support came from within us.
Yeah.
We supported each other. When there was not enough equipment, you know, I stepped up, a few other people stepped up, and we supported each other. So that's why there's appreciation for us, you know, within our field.
Yeah.
You know, because we was just riding and dying for each other.
And when I read the first 6 chapters, and you were speaking about the importance, first of all, we did kind of like a fun fact about you before you got here, girl. And they were like, she's feisty, she stands up for hers, she challenges things to make sure things are being treated, people are being treated fairly, she's a protector, she's giving. And you showed so much resilience, and I feel like you challenged the people around you, higher ups, your colleagues, if something didn't sit right with you, and if you felt like you guys were not being treated fairly. Why is it important for a respiratory therapist to embody leadership qualities in this field and be able to speak up and challenge things, not only for yourself, but for your patients as well?
We have to be leaders because the call that's upon our lives is advocates for our patients, for our field, for our colleagues. That's why the leadership aspect, the leadership character has to come forth.
Yeah.
You know, if it's done for nothing else, it's done for your colleague and for your patients. You have to speak up for them.
Yeah.
You have to. It's, Gwen, am I right?
110%. 110%, child.
We, you know, if you don't do it for that, then who will?
Yeah.
Who will? You know? And I came to a point where I wasn't going to wait on anyone to do it.
And you didn't.
I wasn't going to wait, you know.
Yeah.
And this is why this book is so important. And I tell everybody, it's not about me. This book is about us. This book is about the people. This book is about our patients. This book is about a field that we're going to rebrand respiratory therapy on how we do things, on how we operate, okay, on how we're upgrading our living, you know, levering up, you know, through respiratory therapy.
Can we just in chapter 2, you paint, we're gonna go, listen, in chapter 2 and throughout your book, The Forgotten Heroes, you paint such vivid images and you use such emotive language when you're describing what it was like for your first wave of patients that came in with COVID. Can you kind of tell us what that emotion felt like for you, and what was your drive home after that shift like for you?
Well, I didn't drive home. I took an Uber.
Your Uber home. Touche. That's right, you wrote about that too.
Oh! Okay, forget y'all. That first night, that night was crazy, you know. On any given night, you know, things can go really left. In the beginning, it started out, you know, I mean, I had the ER on another floor. That was the assignment, you know. But the notifications that was coming in, now that was crazy. You know, you get a call, need a ventilator. Someone comes in breathing, gotta intubate. Someone comes in, put them on BiPAP. Another one on BiPAP. And by the 10th person, I said, something's up.
Yeah.
You know, I said, something's going on in these streets. But we don't know what it is because we're just, you know, y'all know how the ER is, right, y'all? We just in our zone, you know, we're going to get equipment, putting on patients. But our list started to just build. And I'm side-eyeing everybody, the doctors. We all looking at each other like, what's up?
Can't imagine.
You know. And then myself and one of the doctors in the ER, we took a survey. We just glanced the whole ER. And everybody was just coughing and coughing and coughing and just can't breathe. And we looked at each other, and another patient came in, coming into crash room. And we both looked at each other and said at the same time, we said, get a mask. Just like that. And I said, this thing is something up in the air.
Yeah.
So I told one of the PCAs, I said, go get the N95, a whole box. And we just started to put it out. We just started to give it out. And everybody started to put on the mask. Because we knew we had to protect ourselves. Because you just can't say, I'm not taking care of this patient. I don't know what's going on. I'm leaving the ER. We don't do that in healthcare. We don't do that in respiratory.
Right.
There is no neglect. There's no walking off the job. No one. In all my years, as I speak right now, I have never seen a respiratory therapist walk off the job and neglect their patients. We just don't do that.
I know that your book is so powerful because you not only address your experience, but you also include the experiences of your colleagues. Can I just say, when I was reading the Forgotten Heroes, hearing the black tag, the blue tag, this code, that code, I was like, oh my God, I'm getting anxiety reading it. I felt like I was there. I can't even imagine what you and your colleagues went through during that time and are still navigating through, right? You also address mental health. I think you described it as a gloomy cloud, and you spoke about depression. Can you kind of just talk to us about how you got through that by leaning on your community, your faith, and your family?
We leaned on each other. A lot of us have, a lot of us believe in God. Most all of us believe in God. We all believe in the power of prayer. And we started to pray before the shift, right? After report, no one was going home. As we coming in, we're just praying. Codes is going off. We're getting dressed. And we say a short prayer and we go, Our faith got us through. I listened to my Archbishop, Dr. E. Bernard Jordan, Zoe Ministry. I had the revival call. He had a revival call 24 hours. And I would just play it, I would just play it. We were scared. We thought we was gonna die. Yeah. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy coming home or leaving the job or coming in from, leaving home, coming to work, because you just know what, you're faced with, but you have to do it. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking about my colleagues, because I knew how short we were, I knew there was no calling in. You couldn't do that, That's where the support came from, because you're thinking about one another. And that's how I got through, My faith, God, my community, my colleagues. We support each other. That's the bottom line.
And when you think about the support on the bigger scale, throughout the Forgotten Heroes, you speak about the lack of support and advocacy for respiratory therapists at that time, and you having to go from going to places to find your own PPE equipment and handing it out and finding the mask, to hopping on a call and letting them know, like, y'all deserve them raises too, and the hazard pay, and you not playing and hanging up the phone. I was like, I know that's right. And the resilience you showed through and through, and your colleagues as well. When you think about the powers that be and the lack of support there, how did you balance that with still coming to work and showing up, knowing that you're entering a war zone every day, that any mistake, because at one point you described having to change your equipment from each patient's room, and if you were re-entering the room, and it was a lot of equipment. I'm talking about a lot, right? So you're dealing with all these things and you're feeling unseen, forgotten, or unheard by the powers that be. How did you stop that from impacting how you showed up to work every day and showing up?
Well, we knew we had to show up. That's one. As far as the other entities, throughout the years, there was some stuff that was swept underneath the rug, and it wasn't addressed. But COVID highlighted it. There was a pay issue, absolutely. There was equipment issue in the beginning. Other entities of healthcare got their equipment and stuff, and we had to fight for it. Yeah. That phone call, that meeting had to be made. And I'm unapologetic about that. And what transpired, because if that didn't happen, then we wouldn't have gotten it. you know. There had to be some measures taken forth to really get where we are right now. Yes, we had to fight for the pay. We had to fight for the equipment. We had to, you know, I mean, at one point, you know, we was just so over the recognition because we just felt like we wasn't just going to get it. Or whatever,
and you just want to survive.
You know, right. You know, but that wasn't going to stop us from doing our work, you know. But we supported each other. You know, we appreciated each other. You know, it was that love there, you know. And, I mean, for me, I don't know if others, you can ask the other therapists, but I know for me, I was just glad to just be part of my colleagues' life, you know, and just being there for them. I recognize them, right? Yeah. Still recognizing them. Will forever recognize them. The appreciation is coming from within. But I also feel that it's needed, that we still need to speak out because the awareness has to be there. There is a shortage in RTs nationally. Yeah. Okay? And we need recruitment. And that's another reason why I wrote The Forgotten Heroes, because we can use it as creating awareness. In 2020, we had 155,000 respiratory therapists. As of today, I believe it's maybe 135 or 136,000. That's a dip. Okay? Yeah. And people are in need. Yeah. Departments are down all over, not only in New York, but every state. You go to a hospital, there is a huge shortage in respiratory therapy, you know. So we have to get out there, you know, and this is where our leadership comes into play. We have to talk about what we do, who we are, and get to the heart of the potential respiratory therapists that are entering in.
And what advice would you give the potential respiratory therapists entering in?
Research the field first. Know what you're getting yourself into. Don't just say, well, you know what? RTs are making money. You're right, we are. There's no doubt about that. But don't get in it for the money because you're going to crash and burn. Okay? You have to have a heart and a mind to serve. Because if you're in it just for the money, the quicker you came in, the quicker you're going to leave. Okay? Most of the RTs here, 10 plus year therapists. 20. Garita? That's my former director, y'all. Give it up. Give it up for Miss G. Let's give it up for Miss G.
All right, Miss G.
But, you know, so we researched when we went in the field, you know, and even, you know, me becoming a doctor of public health, you know, I'm still a therapist. Right. You know, some of us, we you know, took it to another level. But you have to know what you're getting yourself into, you know. That it can't just be the money aspect. If you're not, the mind and the heart to serve, it's just not going to happen, you know. And I would tell someone, shadow a RT. Have a conversation. Come to a discussion. Come to a symposium. See what we're doing. See what we're about, you know. We're doing things inside and we're doing things outside the hospital, okay? We're, like I said, we're patient advocates. You know, the community can utilize us greatly. You know, most respiratory conditions are specialized. I feel that we need to stop treating or using general practitioners for a specialized condition. This is where we come into play. Okay. If you ask any one of us about asthma, we can break it down. Know how to treat, develop an asthma plan. Okay.
14 was it, when you actually break down impact into acronyms? And then you actually are the founder of Impact City Consulting, Inc., correct? Yes? Can we just clap
Yes,
it up
yes,
for that
yes.
as well? Talk to us about the breakdown of the acronyms with impact and why it's important in the field, and then go into your business venture as well.
Okay. So impact. So impact is an acronym, and I'm not going to give y'all the chapter because I really want y'all to read the book.
Read it.
Okay?
Yes.
But impact is about being fit for the future and moving your field forward. Whatever your field is. You know, my field is respiratory therapy, my field is public health. Whatever your field is, if it's real estate, if it's computer science, if it's social media, if it's catering, whatever, photography, visual arts, whatever your field is, it's about being fit for the future and moving your field forward. First question, are you fit for the future? So let's take the word impact. You are an innovator, okay? You gotta get people to buy that in, okay? You are a creator. That's what we are, right? We can create. We create with God and we co-create together, right? Create a plan, create a product, create a protocol that will be implemented in the department and also implemented throughout the field of respiratory. That's transformation. Yes. You just don't want to change, right? You're a motivator. You got to motivate the people who are already in the field. This is being fit for the future, okay? What don't you like? What is missing in your field, okay? And then take that, what you want to do or what you desire to do, and implement it. Motivate yourself and motivate the people. You got to get the people behind you, okay? Purpose, that's P, right? Repurpose your industry. Repurpose your brand, okay? Get social media. Use the internet. It's free right now. Use all social media pages, okay? What is your message in your field that you want to get across, right? Take that message and take it up a notch. Okay? Start speaking. We need to recruitment needs to increase. Start talking about respiratory therapy. All right? That's what this gathering is about, right? I want everyone to go on their social media pages, go in front of the step and repeat, and just start talking about respiratory therapy. We're here to celebrate each other, right? This is first day of Respiratory Care Week, right? So let's celebrate yourself, but also speak about the field, all right? This is how people are going to know about it. I activate you. You are activated as of this day to move the field forward. Whatever you're going to do, just take that one thing, whatever it is, and run with it. You're activated as of today. Move forward with the acceleration. And from there, change and transformation shall take place. Okay? Change and transformation. You can't have transformation without change. What is the definition of transformation? It is the completeness of change. That's impact. I am impact. But you know what? So are you. Each and every one of you. I am impact. Everyone say that. I am impact.
I am impact.
I am impact.
I am impact.
Go forth.
Woo! A word, okay? A word. I felt that in my spirit. Okay. I want to talk about your process in actually writing The Forgotten Heroes and reliving the moments that you address, reliving those emotions. Can you kind of just talk us through what that process was like? And did it bring any closure or a full circle moment for you?
The process of writing The Forgotten Heroes, it was a hard task, extremely difficult task, because it took me to places I didn't want to relive, you know. I didn't want to relive the height of COVID. I didn't really want to relive those phone calls. I didn't want to relive, what my colleagues and I went through, that struggle, with the powers that be, Didn't want to relive that. It was hard. But as I continued to go forth in writing, it was healing. It was healing. I knew it had to be done. I knew I had to speak up. I was speaking to, a few of my sisters, and I was asking them, I'm writing a book about, us. Yeah, keep going. And I'm like, I don't know. No, just keep going. Tell me when it's done. Tell me when it's done.
I love that.
So I knew I had the support.
Yeah.
But it was difficult, But each moment, each chapter was healing, Me speaking about it is healing, Seeing my colleagues here to share this moment is healing. It's healing for me.
Healing. I love that. I think that your story is powerful, and the story of your colleagues as well. It brings a lot of awareness and transparency to what happens in the field. And I thank you for the work that you do. I thank all of you, all the respiratory therapists that are in here, for the work that you do.
Let's give it up, y'all.
Seriously, I learned so much just from reading that book. I do encourage you guys. We do have the hard copies and the soft copies in the back that Dr. Domonisa will be signing as well. So I encourage you guys, once we wrap up the Q&A, to stop by the back table, pick up your book. I'm telling you, it's a powerful, powerful read. With that said, what is next for Dr. Domonisa Hurley? What's next for you, girl? You taking over the world? What we doing?
Of course. Why not? I'm going to be doing some speaking engagements. I'm all about creating awareness about RTs, public health. Respiratory health is very important. A lot of people take that for granted. And I'm going to use this story, I'm going to use this message to teach people how to breathe again, live again. And I'm going to need each and every one of y'all support. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Support. Speaking of support, can you just let them know, like, your social media handles, and your website as well?
Okay, so when y'all go on social media, y'all can tag me. For Facebook, it's Dr. Domonisa. IG is Dr. Domonisa. I also have Impact City Consulting, Inc. is on Facebook, and Impact City is on IG. Okay?
Yes, and the website.
Oh, yes. So y'all can go to the website to get the Forgotten Heroes. The Forgotten Heroes, RRTonthemove.com.
Yes. Wrap it up.